Hey, you know, I've been feeling I've been kind of disingenuous because it still feels like I'm playing pretend. The reason I say that is because I remember back when I was confirmed in as a altar boy or a order of Cairo and all this other stuff I didn't really understand. Uh, in my Lutheran church, I felt like it was more an historical institution. I got the feeling half the people didn't really believe in supernatural. They were just there for the social function. I felt like, in many ways, even though it was something you couldn't say, it was pretend. It was a pretend you couldn't say anything about. And then, when I realized that I didn't really share these beliefs, which was kind of a gradual process of deconversion to me, I expanded my views to people outside of the church. And I started hearing about spiritual beliefs, the cult, pagan views, and to me, it still sounded like pretend. And with these views came more progressive views. And I would listen to some of this, and it's nothing that I'm not used to now, being in the secular community and the atheist community. Because what am I going to do? Pretend that there's a God? I admit it still sounds weird to me to consider myself an ex-Lutheran. And a little less so to consider myself an ex-Christian. Although I do have sympathies. I still get mad when people bash Christmas. I guess to me it's something more to do with cultural institution, Western, maybe even Eurocentric. I don't know. I never learned to self-hate. I kind of, how could you say it? I still have a romance with the pre-civil rights era, with the past, with all those horrible things, before the 60s. You ever notice people are in love with the 60s? And they say it's for civil rights, but I really think it's a romanticism, just like anything else. So, when I heard about all these views, some of it was shocking to me at the time. Same-sex relationships, drug use, things I wish I hadn't heard of, or was glamorized to me, which wasn't. A lot of things. It all still seemed like pretend. Now, I've changed my views a lot on a lot of issues. Matter of fact, I've changed some of my views quite recently. I accept people have a right to their freedoms. Matter of fact, I have a greater understanding of that point. for the life of me, it still feels like it's something that you're supposed to just agree to. If you're not actually a player, you better have on the pom-poms and be a supporter. It's like there's no place for my view. A real view, to me at least. A world where there's not a sky daddy, but you actually suffer the consequences of your actions for your pretend. To me, they honestly seem like indulgences of a postmodern world that's ran off of the luxuries of industrialized living, the medicines, the industries, all the other things that are based or give the privilege of social justice without the cruel realities of the nature involved. And why do I say something like that? Oh, I don't know. I just think back to a frontier town and all the freedoms they had and why they had those strict views and what happens when they didn't. Of course, that's not really fair either, but it kind of makes the point. You accept the reality of your world, but it's based on a reality that is supported by the culture and society around you. And that feels like a big pretend to me. So, I don't know. I know I'm not the world's smartest guy. And half the time, I'm way over my head on a lot of things. But it still feels like it's coloring the sky green and the grass blue. Just seems more like golden idols, sacred cows, to me. I don't know. I just really don't. Feels like pretend to me. It's the same.